A woman who sees a solution to this corruption is known as the cracker from Caracas, Vanessa Neumann. She's effectively a shadow ambassador for a rival government to Maduro, set up by self-declared interim President Juan Guaidó. And she joins me now. This makeshift parallel government, Vanessa, that you are part of, set up to challenge the Maduro government to get rid of the president himself. It seems to have achieved the exact opposite, a failed coup, which, to all intents and purposes, seems to have made him stronger, not weaker.
Oh, so let me differ with you there. First of all, we are not a parallel government. We are the government. We stem directly from the Constitution. Juan Guaidó is our constitutional leader according to the Constitution of our republic. That Constitution comes from 1999. Ironically, we are defending it. The Chavistas are violating it. And the irony is that it was the Constitution that was set up by, that was signed into law under Hugo Chavez. So the Chavistas are violating their hero's constitution while we defend it.
He still runs the country. He still runs the country. Let me just put this to you. He still runs the country. He has admitted he is in secret talks with Donald Trump, who has admitted the same. The US president is speaking to Maduro, and he still runs the country. So I get where you're going with this, but to all intents and purposes, this is a parallel government.
No, absolutely not. The Maduro regime is much more fractured now than it was 16 months ago in the sort of in the social uprising to which you are referring to as the failed coup.
Give me some examples of that, because we saw, you know, day after day, we saw protests in the streets. We're not seeing that anymore. We're not seeing that. How is he weaker, not stronger?
The people, he is weaker because they are negotiating behind his back, with him and without him. The entire administration is fractured. They are, as Bolton says, scorpions in a bottle. The people reject them. More than 84% of the people want Maduro out as soon as possible. He is using food and medicine and starving them for social control. While he is blocking food and medicine coming into the country, we are having moderate success getting them in with the help of patriotic Venezuelans and delivering it to local communities for the past 18 weeks, every weekend.
Let me put this to you. In the last few weeks, the US has introduced new, larger sanctions against Venezuela. As you have described yourself as the voice of the people, it is the people who are suffering greatly. Do you... I know you're going to say it's the Maduro government. What about these swinging US sanctions, which are helping no one, only hurting the people of Venezuela?
Nothing has hurt the Venezuelan people more than the sanctions imposed by the expropriations from the Chavez administration on down. They threw business people into prison, took the farm-producing lands, took the factories, took the things that make the food, the banking system, the agriculture, took over everything and absolutely destroyed it. There is no greater sanction than the economic plan of the Chavez and the Maduro regime. They destroyed the economy. The sanctions imposed by the US government allows in food and medicine. Who's blocking the food and medicine? Maduro.
So you do not condemn those US sanctions? You don't condemn those UN sanctions?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because they are allowing humanitarian aid in that is being blocked by the Maduro administration that is purposely starving and torturing my people in order to remain in power. We have food, we have medicine, they block it. We smuggle it in with the help of our patriotic citizens. And we had a phenomenal economy. They destroyed it with their greed and by taking it over. There is no greater sanction than the destruction of the productive capacity of a country.
What about the Venezuelan people who support Maduro? Are they not part of the country? I'm just asking you this question.
Well, which is why in the negotiations that we have talked about, and the Guaidó government will go anywhere, meet with anyone, and have any conversation that promises to end the suffering of our people. Okay, but even while we are doing those talks, which is to be included with them, as you see, we have something called the Frente Amplio, which is the broad front, and we are getting the support of a lot of even, former what we call Chavista dissidents who want to join us and do not like the absolute destruction of the country. We are politically inclusive as long as they are pro democracy.
Are you still offering deals for amnesty to the regime? A regime that you've called a transnational criminal organization fronting as a government.
That's right. Yes, that's what. Yes, I quote. Yes. I say that very frequently.
Right.
That is sort of my tagline.
So you're still offering amnesty deals. So that's
no,
what you always
offer. Well, you always offer, depending. Okay, so for your information, I worked on reintegration of paramilitaries in Colombia. So this is not my first rodeo. In 2008 and 2009, in the field. So I have seen transitional justice firsthand. I have interviewed the people who are the victims and the perpetrators of violence. There's a very particular process that's very complicated, where you fess up to what you did, where you offer information, and you assist in that transition. And depending on your level of cooperation, you can become part of the new regime, and that happens everywhere, all over the world, in all transitions.
Why, Guaidó? Let me just ask you that.
Yes.
He's inexperienced. He's only had a few years in the... Well, hang on a minute. He's young, he's inexperienced. He's only had a few years in the National Assembly, which, of course, wields the power. What legitimizes his claim to the presidency? I'm not talking about the constitutional claim here, because you've just explained. It is a genuine question that I've heard many people ask. Given the failed coup d'etat, call it what you will, call it what you will.
Social uprising.
Call it what you will. We watched those images on our television screens. You must have been terribly disappointed that it wasn't. I'm sure you did.
Yes.
Is he the right man to take Venezuela forward at this point?
Well, he is the man. He is the man who has the legitimacy, who has the Constitution behind him. He is. To put this into context, he is one of the leaders of the generation of 2007, what we call the generation of 2007, which is when you got a student uprising. It was after they closed the old TV channel, when the students had been pro-Chavez, suddenly said, oh, my God, this is a dictatorship. And you had this new leadership come up organically of student leaders.
I understand that. And you've talked, and we've had the opportunity to talk about the constitutional legitimacy. I'm talking about the man himself. This is a huge job, and it's not where you want it to be at present. Is the man for the job?
It is true that we are stronger than we were 16 weeks ago because the coalition is stronger, and we are launching. There's yet much to be done. I agree. And as you may know, we have launched a very specific, a focused and targeted strategy of growing the coalition of support for our democracy, which means for Juan Guaidó, to change the strategic environment in which the Maduro administration, the Maduro regime, recalculates its sense of time. We must and we will make it clear to the Maduro regime what we and the rest of Venezuela knows, that time is not on their side.
Your special ambassador from the Juan Guaidó regime?
Administration. Guaidó government administration.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.